Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, mesdames et messieurs, meine Damen und Herren, welcome to another video of mine here in my YouTube channel and in Facebook and the social media. I hope there'll be some people watching. That would be wonderful. If there's lots of people watching, that's great. If there's no one watching, that's also great. It doesn't really matter. I have something important to say, and I hope that whoever is listening, even if there's, no one, just three people watching. It might be there's just a handful of people that are watching or listening. That's okay too. Now, if there's 1 million people watching, that's okay too. If you ignore me, that's fine. If you come in droves and masses and really adore my work, if you think I'm weird and strange, that's perfectly fine too. That's okay. I just watched a movie called Yesterday, and it's with Hamish Patel. It's a young guy that plays a rather, unsuccessful musician somewhere in England in the 21st century, and somehow he gets run over by a bus, gets in an accident, and accidentally slips into an alternate reality. An alternate reality where, things are slightly different. No one has heard of the Beatles, and no one has heard of Harry Potter. It's a slightly different reality, and of course, the fact that nobody has heard of the Beatles turns into somewhat of an advantage for him, because the fact that no one has heard of the Beatles, an alternate reality where John Lennon, actually turned out to be a happily married sailor on the coast of England somehow, gave him a longer life. He didn't get shot by Mark David Chapman in 1980. He turned out to be a sort of a normal bloke with a house on the English coast. And John Lennon, lived a long life and, reached the noble age of 78. But Jack Malik, this unsuccessful musician who slipped into an alternate reality, he became extremely successful because he performed all these songs that the Beatles performed, and people loved them because it was a reality where they'd never heard these songs. But at the end, should I say what happens? Anyway, he chooses true love in the end. That's all I can say. And as you know, I am a great believer of spiritual energy, of quantum physics, that everything is energy, that material does not exist. Material is an invention, and quantum physics can prove that. Everything is in vibration. This corona pandemic has actually brought an enormous change for me, because in the past year I have sort of grounded myself in this knowledge, what I was in my previous life and the different lives that I've had. I've done regression therapy and realized that I have been in a karmic cycle of mistakes, chasing after people that weren't actually worth chasing, blowing opportunities that could have been mine but weren't because I didn't dare to go after them. And a lot of those things have been due to, love and confusion being mixed. And so through my work as a creative person and the great luxury of having money coming in every month, God has provided me an opportunity to fix past mistakes. And I think that is a great proof of me being on the right track, because I get these little synchronicities from the entire creation that shows me that I'm on the right track. I'm reading a book about Frank Sinatra, and I see this incredibly talented genius of a man that I've been emulating all my life. I've sung in big bands all my life, and I realized that I've been influenced by Frank Sinatra, as I have been influenced by Elvis Presley. I do believe that I was, in my previous life, Elvis Presley's stillborn twin, Jesse Garon Presley. Be that as it may, we all have previous lives because our souls are eternal. But Frank, he was the greatest genius of all time when it came to swing music and jazz music. But he was a very confused and, escaping individual. A man that influenced jazz and swing music more than anyone that ever lived, but still, as a private person, he was always running away from something. He cheated on his wife Nancy to live with Ava Gardner, and then he cheated on Ava Gardner right after cheating with Nancy to be with Marilyn Maxwell. And it didn't take long for him to cheat on Marilyn Maxwell as well. So his entire life was influenced, of course, by music, but also influenced by a great unwillingness to find his own truth. In the film Yesterday, we have a situation in an alternate reality where the Beatles never were formed, and where all the members of the Beatles turned out to be normal blokes. Well, the kind of blokes that you would find standing in the back room of the pub, drinking their Guinness, after a normal day at the workplace. I mean, we have documentaries like Tony Robinson's, research that the rightful throne of England doesn't belong to Queen Elizabeth, but to a landowner in Australia because of the infidelity of Edward IV, which would actually make the Queen Elizabeth, that's on the throne right now in England, just a normal housewife in Hanover. So let's ask ourselves a question. We pursue wealth and fame so much. And it's not wrong to want to become famous or be wealthy or be somewhere else than we want to be. But aren't we all a little bit like Frank Sinatra? Of course, it's important to inspire people, to be the best we can be. I mean, Neil Donald Walsh, in his beautiful book, Conversations with God, he says that God knows that souls want to be the best they can be in a life. But aren't we actually just a little bit fleeing and mistaking the fact that we know that we come from somewhere else and replace that truth with a thought that we have to become rich and famous? And actually, the thing that we're looking for is the fact that we're part of everything that is. We're part of the biggest thing that exists, that is everything, which is God. So actually, we're actually chasing fame and riches, but actually what we want is love. So think about that for a minute. We're chasing riches and fame. We're always on the road to find something else. But what we have is right here now. So John Lennon's wonderful words about all you need is love is the most important thing we have. All we actually need is love. And we have all these ideas in our head, what's true and what's not true. Which religion, which club, which idea, which ideology do we choose? Does it really matter? Because if we're eternal beings, we can actually solve our problems in the next life or the next after next. We don't have to actually, put ourselves under any pressure, because we know that we're eternal beings. Our energy never gets lost. If we have karmic problems, if we have karmic cycles and issues, it doesn't matter, because God is there to pick us up, and He will definitely give us a chance to live again and solve our problems again. So, does it really matter? And is fame everything it's cracked up to be? Do we have to rise to our expectations? Do we really have to do that? Can't we just live? Can we just breathe? Can we just love? Embrace our friends, embrace our families? Do the best we can do? Do we really have to go the whole way and become the most incredibly famous people that ever lived? Is that really necessary? So ask yourself, if you really, really want to get all those likes in the social media? Do you really, really, really want to manifest all that money? There are people who say they became rich and famous, and they were in those, collections of people. And these rich and famous people were the most miserable people on earth. That doesn't mean that you don't, that you can't want to become rich and famous and successful. That's all very fine and well. But ask yourself that question. What do you have right here, right now, that serves you well? What people do you have around you that are honest and fair? What beautiful things can you enjoy right now? Don't be somewhere else where you are not. Try to live in the here and now. Try to enjoy the here and now. Well, after all, no matter if you have 3,000 likes in your Facebook account or just 2, what difference does it make in the line of eternity? After all, if you're really honest about it, all you do need is love, because without love, nothing matters.